today I'm going to talk about herbs for digestion, one of my favorite topics. And I made a digestant tea before you got here. It's warm, sort of hot, not as warm as I'd like it to be. It cooled down a bit. But these are the herbs I'm going to talk about are herbs that help aid in digestion. And typically, I would say years and years ago, super common for people to have little like digestive aids either before a meal or after a meal, whether it's a cup of tea or a cordial or a syrup, or even just chewing on the seeds, chewing on the herbs. Like I said, very common. People, a lot of the things that I talk and share about were common knowledge. So now we really, unless you cook with a lot of these herbs and spices and incorporate them into your meals, you're really not getting those digestive aids that the herbs are meant to be. And I think we're pretty much a society, a culture with a lot of digestive issues. So, very important topic. Something that I have worked or studied and looked into for the last 2 decades because I've needed it. I have definitely foods that I avoid. It was a learning process of what my body likes. I feel like each person's body just clicks with certain types of food. We're not like all created equally. And the standard American diet, even though most people eat it, is really not good for your health overall, and definitely is hard on the digestion. So I'm going to share with you first this tea. I would have liked to make it stronger on the stove, but I used my dehydrator pot thing. So what I have in here, I have some coriander, fennel, ginger powder, star anise, and and then anise. 2 different plants, 2 different seeds. It's light. This is something that I would have right after dinner. So, did you eat supper yet?
Do some you drink before and some after, or is it pretty much always after?
Well, I don't like to drink a lot of liquid before a meal because then you have like all this liquid. So if I were going to take herbs for digestion before a meal, it's usually like a tincture where I'm doing like drops or like a syrup, just because I don't want to fill my stomach up with like a cup of liquid.
Sure.
All right. Jeanette, drink that one. Does everyone want to try some?
Yes, please.
Okay. Want to try some?
Now, in our culture, it's coffee after the meal, not tea.
Yes, sure. Coffee at all times. And I love coffee. It's just not.
Thank you.
If you study like the Indian cultures and their like ceremonial plants, coffee is one, cacao, tobacco. These are plants that like really should be seldom used for like medicine and ceremony, and we definitely overuse them in the West.
Thank
Myself included. I had this year was so busy for me. I'm not a coffee drinker because the caffeine is just like way too much for me. I can't sleep. But I was drinking a lot of cacao, ceremonial cacao, especially like because it has caffeine. Chocolate has caffeine, and then the like better brand cacao has more caffeine, but it didn't prevent me from sleeping. However, now that my school year just ended with the kids, I decided like, all right, I better just like give this a break. And for the last couple of days, I've been like taking a nap every day. I'm like, oh my gosh, that caffeine must have really like kept me going because I felt like I hit a wall like without drinking it. Anyway, just a side note. Caffeine, too much caffeine is hard on all of the organs. Like I said, it's like all of the fun things. I mean, I love coffee, chocolate, alcohol, desserts, all of these like, there's a lot of really fun foods, but for some reason they can be hard on the body. I'm not sure why God gave us all of them. Maybe, I don't know. That's another topic, but so caraway. I'm going to start with caraway. Is everyone familiar? Oh, first of all, what do you think of the tea? It's real light.
You really taste the fennel. That's what sticks out the most to me.
I think I put the most fennel in because I love fennel.
It is very
Anise
light.
for sure.
It's good.
Yeah, I taste it.
Because it tastes like a pizzelle cookie.
Yeah.
Flavor.
Yeah.
So would you only drink this hot, or would you ice it?
Oh, you could ice it, but I think it's better warm right after you eat.
Okay.
You definitely want to, like, I wouldn't make this like a sun tea or just let it sit. In fact, I don't feel like the star anise got like enough extracted because I didn't have like my stove to boil. And seeds are harder than, like, as I've been talking about making teas, like you can just pour hot water over like leafy herbs and then it makes like a pretty strong tea. But with the seeds, you definitely want to have like some boiling water. So caraway. Does everyone use caraway seeds? No, what?
I've used them, but I don't use them.
Okay. What is know what's really good? I eat the seeds plain. So like I'll often carry like fennel seeds with me. Many times, I know I'm like going backtracking. Many times the kids, like if we were somewhere, like, first of all, they're good for freshening the breath. But if someone had a bellyache or something, like if I had my fennel seeds and just give them fennel seeds to chew on, they taste so good. So it's like...
Wait, fennel or caraway? Fennel?
I jumped back to fennel. But what I was going to say is the seeds are much tastier if you save them after you make your tea and they're like now a little bit softer
Okay.
and easier to chew. Now, on the road, that's not going to happen. But don't throw them out because... they're really good after they've been steeped and softened. They have like more flavor than when they're just hard and dry. But back to caraway. Carum carvi, I guess, in Latin. Carum carvi. What bread is caraway seeds? Rye. Yeah.
Wayne loves rye. That's why I know.
Okay. All right. So for those of you doing school with me, doing my course, this herb would be called a digestant herb, and it's also carminative. The word carminative means like a digestive aid, expels gas, basically. I'm looking to see if I have a picture of one in my cards. The plant. Okay, so obviously the seed is what's collected. It's in the same family as dill and fennel. What do they call it? The umbelliferous or something. The plants that kind of like have these like, well,
Branchy
Spread.
leaves,
Yeah.
they spread, yeah.
dill parsley looking leaves. Caraway is frequently mentioned by old writers. Maybe you can help me with this pronunciation. Dioscorides? Dioscorides. He's often cited in herb books. He advised the oil to be taken by pale-faced girls. It was a very popular remedy during Shakespearean times in the Middle Ages. It was a custom in England, in Europe, to serve roast apples with a saucerful of caraway seeds. And in Scotland, they would serve a saucerful of caraway seeds with tea and buttered bread, and then you would dip your buttered bread into the, yeah, that does sound really good, into the caraway seeds, and that was called salt water jelly. So this I like finding interesting history. So there was a curious superstition that was held in olden times about caraway. It was deemed that if you gave a gift and you like put caraway seeds with the gift, then the gift would not be stolen. It would prevent theft. And then also by putting the seeds in your house, you were protecting your house from a thief, from invading the house and stealing too. So a lot of these plants do have like witchcraft or superstitious beliefs surrounding them. It was also an herb or a spice or whatever you want to call it in love potions, as it's supposed to prevent fickle lovers. And then just like fennel, which I'll be talking about, caraway water, or if you've heard of grape water, I used to buy grape water. So basically like a tea, like an infusion of the seeds. In fact, the one book that I found says to use 1 ounce of bruised caraway seeds. So to bruise the seeds, you would put them in like a pestle and just break the shell up a little bit. Putting 1 ounce in 6 cups of water, cold water, sorry, and just letting it sit all day. Shake the jar a couple times during the day, and then strain off the water, and then that was like a grape water. So you could do that with fennel, you could do it with caraway, and 1 to 3 teaspoons at a time. I've never made my own grape water, so I've only ever made like the tea, but I've never just let the seeds sit in water. But I've used it, and I used to buy it for my kids when they were young.
Did you say one? Is it teaspoons or tablespoons?
Teaspoons at a time. 1 to 3 teaspoons at a time. So before I go any further, does anyone use herbs for digestion before meal? Or maybe let's start like this, like what do you think of, or there are already some things that are instituted in restaurants or when we go out, like part of culture, that are a digestive aid. What can you think of right away? Parsley. Do you eat the parsley on your plate, or do you leave it there as just the garnish?
I usually eat everything.
Yeah.
I eat whatever they put on your plate has to be edible. So I
So you
usually
eat it?
try everything, like the orchids and
Oh, nice.
yeah, because
I haven't gone to dinner where they have put parsley on my plate in a while.
it's
I haven't
expensive.
I haven't been to a nice dinner like that in a while. What else can you think of?
The orange slice.
Yeah, orange slice,
The palate cleansers.
Mm-hmm.
because orange peel is a digestive aid.
I'm just thinking of like mints after dinner.
After dinner mints. In a pinch, I would eat an after, like a, you know, those white and red swirl, probably corn syrup
The
mints.
lemon on the water.
Lemon, yeah, that's true. But peppermint is so effective and so amazing that even if it was like a piece of candy dinner mint, and if that's all I had, it would help. Besides those herbs and spices, do any of you at home like take digestive bitters or don't tell me any of you are like eating Tums or Alka-Seltzer. I'm sorry. There was a time when I did eat Tums pretty regularly. So we're not doing that.
I actually just did, it's not actual herbs, but it's, the oils or extracts, and I just took two. One, the purple one has, caraway and a bunch of stuff in, and the green one it's marketed for IBS patients, and since the capsule is gelatin from a cow, I have to just down the little capsules, but then you have like caraway, fennel, peppermint herbs. So and it actually works fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But I know I use a lot of fennel, especially in cumin, anything like the Indian, like Pakistan Indian herbs.
Yeah.
Because I eat a lot of Indian foods.
Oh, nice.
And I know my one friend, he's a therapist, and some people from, I think Pakistan took over the practice. This was the other year, and he was saying about his gut, and the guy just, like you said, he kind of just like reached in his pocket and had a bag of seeds, and he was asking me, and I said, it sounds like either fennel or anise, and it ended up being both of them.
Oh,
And
nice.
so, but he said, I have to get myself a bag of them, so I don't know how he's doing. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but he was just like, I was surprised. Because we talked about like standard American diet all the time, and you know, the beef jerky and cheese on the go, and how it's not like really terrific.
I know, I think, like, I don't like to talk about it anymore, because I think it's, you want to talk about what you want and not what you have. But I've had a lot of in the past, a lot of digestive things, and I always wondered, like, I wonder if I would have grew up in a different country with like homemade, not that my mom didn't cook things, but like,
Less
you know,
processed.
way less processed, like on a, you know, Sardinia or something, where they're like milking their goats. And I wonder if I would have had no digestive issues if that was the food I would have, you know, been eating, because it's been annoying.
That's one of the things my Italian girls have said is everything is so convenient in America. It's so easy. Like, oh, you have that, it's frozen, you just have to pour it out. Oh, that's so convenient. Like,
Oh, really?
of course you have that.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to get away from that, like,
But even frozen fruit, like if I'm making a smoothie, it's already cut and frozen, and I buy it. Like, I don't necessarily have to even go pick it and wash it and freeze it myself. And that's
Oh, so
convenient.
that was even
That's
like
even convenient. Yes.
like a novel thing. Wow.
It's just different.
Does anyone want caraway seed?
Should I see? Or two? We're actually here because of her. Her digestion is not the best. So
You don't have to. They're actually really strong.
that's fine. I have one actually.
You might not like them.
So
Fennel are yummy, but caraway seeds, they do taste good with rye bread, but I think rather strong
This
Fennels.
is what I put in.
And they're pretty hard.
Put in my sauerkraut when I make it.
Oh yeah, you can put it
Yeah,
in
I put
sauerkraut.
it in my sauerkraut.
I've seen that.
Yeah. Oh,
I
and
made
it's
bread
good.
for Wayne the one time using sauerkraut juice.
Oh, did
It
you?
was the rye bread and sauerkraut juice and
Do you taste it after you bite it?
the caraway seeds.
I think the aftertaste doesn't come out right away.
Tastes straight up
It's like rye bread.
Mhm.
That's what bread.
You know what?
that's
I have to
bread
go to
is.
the bathroom. So I'm gonna press pause. You guys